welcome to Controversies of the Day with Logan
and Jay.
So, Logan, been a lot of things happening since we last talked. There was a fourth Republican debate. A lot of people talked about it. So I thought we'd just review real quick. Vivek.
Legend. Him going after Haley and Christie a little bit about the provinces inside of Ukraine.
I mean,
that was amazing.
Oh my God, she looks terrible. I couldn't believe how bad she looked. I'm like, oh my God, lady, come on.
She just sat there with that shit-eating grin, not even a grin, just she knew she was caught. She knew she didn't know. She didn't even answer.
Oh, and then that line to Christie, why don't you just get off the stage here and go get yourself a nice meal or something like.
Oh, God. You know, it's funny. So I don't know if it was how many days after that was, but Vivek was on CNN having
the town hall meeting, right? Yeah, I saw this.
Oh my gosh. So she would not let him explain himself. She was boxing him in these dumb questions. And any time that he told her, hey, you're going to have to let me listen, this is truth. But like more and more, the crowd kept on going further and further on his side, wanting him to talk. It was something else. The guy's definitely making an impact regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on. So I think he might pull over more people than CNN or the left might actually want to give him credit for. But it was something.
Vivek, I enjoy what you're doing, my friend. I don't know if you're a plant. I don't know if you're a flim-flam man. I hope you're not connected to George Soros. There are these rumors. But I think he's done very well in the debates. He's made them fun. My whole thing, I was mad they didn't let some of the other people in the initial debate. That's the thing that made me mad. Why Chris Christie was at this most recent one. I mean, if this guy doesn't win New Hampshire and pull a rabbit out of his hat, okay, that's enough, buddy.
I think he was just there to protect Haley. He was to be a buffer.
It seemed that way, didn't it? It really did. It really did. Oh my gosh, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen this next year. And will Trump, show up to one of these debates at some point? Or will he feel he has to?
Yeah, who knows? Really, at this point, I don't think he needs it. He doesn't need it.
Now, Governor DeSantis, again, I like the guy. I don't know. Some people say he doesn't have the it factor. And I know what they're talking about. He's a little clumsy, a little awkward here and there. Again, I don't think those kind of things should really matter when we're talking about decision making, because you really want someone with character and with brains. And I think he could, I think he would be a decent president. But as we're looking at how you want to say a horse race here, he's probably got to do something here. Maybe win Iowa. And again, Iowa is a wild card kind of a state. Things have happened in the past.
I want to say I heard some super PAC money is coming away from him and going elsewhere. I heard that too. I think he needs to back off. Just go back to Florida. Do your governor's job. That's what you're good at doing. And it's not saying you can't be president, but it's not your time right now. I think he was prematurely pushed forward with this, and I don't think he was ready for it.
Yeah, others have been saying what you just said there too. And so, I kind of think, if he doesn't do something in New Hampshire or Iowa, again, Iowa, I think is his big moment, then I think he's going to be smart enough to know, okay, not this time, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm sure the people behind him are just pushing him. He's just listening to these people.
And these first three are big, folks. Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. I mean, if Nikki better be neck and neck with Trump, or neck and neck. She better win it. Otherwise, I mean, what's your point, hon? All this money's got behind her. I'm sure they don't want her to drop out. But
neither side likes the guy, so who knows what kind of collusion might happen this time around. It could be from both left and right, and kind of not have any defense on either side, especially the right. Who knows? It's nowadays, who knows what to expect. Especially what's scary is that people aren't really thinking about what about this AI stuff. How hard is it just to make some deep fakes? The guy's only on Parler. I think he might be back on Twitter. So it's not like he gets a lot of his information out to the masses like it would be, if he was still kind of right favored, even like with Fox. So I think let's say hypothetically someone puts up some crazy video of him saying some crazy shit, and if Trump can't get out there and put his voice out to say this is false, what's to keep that narrative of this fake video just pushing and pushing and pushing? It's a very likely thing. Very likely. I mean, someone like me could sit there and fiddle around this AI stuff online with tools and all kinds of different stuff and completely do it. So what's keeping some CNN or even someone behind this, it could happen. And it'd be very hard, I think, for him to be able to validate whether that video is true or not, because he doesn't have the you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He can't get out to the masses
right.
Obama could, or Hunter obviously can, since he can just defy congressional subpoenas and whatnot.
It's something else. So George Santos, they kick him out, and he's a bozo. But I don't know if he actually really committed the high crimes and misdemeanors or the sedition type things that they say that the other 5 people, whoever, were kicked out of Congress in our whole country's history. I don't know if he really met the bar. He's a goof, but
did he do anything well for his constituents? I mean, did he
I don't know. They're just claiming a lot of fraud. A lot of things he claimed about himself and other things.
I get that, but outside of that, did he do anything that the people that voted him in would be? Did he not uphold promises? Were his people?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Were those people worse off that he took?
Right. I mean, he wasn't in office full term, so
if he's just some doofus running around just being a doofus, what's it matter if he's a doofus if the people that voted him have no problem with him, or at least
he's their doofus. There's a lot of he's surrounded by a lot of other doofuses.
So I don't know. Again, it's nothing burger news to me.
I know. And Kevin McCarthy, he got kicked out of the speakership. First of all, it's hard to get him to be speaker. They had to vote on it a gazillion times to push him through. Then he got in there. Then they voted him out. And now he's actually leaving Congress, something we would like them all to do.
Right.
Guys, can't you just copy Kevin? I mean, I don't like Kevin, but you're going to get so many of you, especially you people. He's from the House. How about some of you senators who've been there for decades? Please follow Kevin. Leave. Just leave.
So Katie showed me that video, the audio recording of that you sent her from Nixon. Talking about all these old fogies.
I thought of you. That's why I said that. Yeah.
So, it's obviously something they all know, and they're trying to hide this. Oh, no, don't let them get rid of the power. We can just sit here and sit. There needs to be turn on these people. Come on.
So, and what Logan's talking about is an age limit. Mm-hmm. Now, not just that you got to be a certain age. I don't know what it is for Congress, 30 years old to be president. I think you got to be 35. Yeah. But he's saying at the top, a limit up at the top, too. And there's old video out there. Again, I hope it's not deep faked. I don't know. Allegedly, it's Richard Milhouse Nixon, because that was a long time ago. We're 40s, almost 50 years ago. But it would be about 50 years ago now, yeah. And he was talking about some of the senators back then who were in their 70s, and he thought there should be a limit here at some point. I don't know what he was saying, 75 or something along those lines.
I think 70 was his number. I think.
So wouldn't that be curious if all of a sudden they passed a law and that prevented Donald Trump from running? But that probably won't happen this year.
Well,
who knows?
So if Biden's not going to be the nominee and be president because of his age and he's past that, again, something stupid's going to happen. He's got some giant gaffe or something like that. What would stop Congress? Well, we can't have this happen. And not try to connect it to a Trumpism type thing, but more, well, this is how we're going to get, we don't want this to happen again. This is unfair, let's sprinkle some snowflakes on it to make him be the victim somehow. And then Trump would be able to be president. So, another possibility, something that could easily happen, and everyone's, it's not going to happen. Well, crazier shit's happened.
Yes, absolutely, and I don't understand these senators. For example, I don't get it. Dianne Feinstein, I never liked her politics. She just passed away a few months ago. I don't know if she was 90 or close to 90, 91. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, so it's like, go have a life. You have your big government pension. I'm sure a lot of you are, done very well with your investing, or your relatives have done very well, and. Go be with your grandkids, be with your family, enjoy yourself. I remember when John McCain, he beat cancer and stuff, and he kept running and kept getting back in. Like, dude, what are you doing? Holy cow. He married very well. Cindy's connected to the Coors family, I think. Anyway, the beer company. But there's so many of them. They're really just leave. Follow Kevin McCarthy's. Follow him and leave, people. And he's not even waiting. He's just going. He's not going to be like Goofy Romney. Well, after my term is done, I'm watching that Romney. He could show up in that no label parties thing.
I don't think they're putting a nominee up.
I hope not. I hope you're right, buddy. I hope you're right. we shall see. I'm worried about that scenario with RFK Jr. and you're seeing like 3 or 4 big characters out there. That's what I worry could happen, and then it could all get thrown in the House of Representatives. But I don't know. I'm always looking for those fantastical, crazy scenarios. So
it'd be nice to see RFK get some actual TV time.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear him talk.
And who he would take as a running mate, I think would be fascinating. Again, I would say Tulsi Gabbard. And then and if Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, I'm so fascinated with who is he going to take as a running mate. And I've always, ever since I was a kid, I always cared about this. Some people are like, well, it doesn't really matter. Well, if it's a close race, it does matter. And in Trump's case, if he can't, if he can only run for, and have the one term, it's going to be that next person is going to be the future, really, of the party. So I think it matters a lot this time.
Oh, yeah. For his pick, yeah, I agree.
So there's been boring presidential elections, folks, and then there's been exciting ones. I think we're going to go into a crazy one. It's going to be very exciting. I don't know if it's going to end well. I hope so for our country's sake. But it's going to be interesting, I think. Yeah. So we shall see. We shall see. But moving on, occasionally we talk a little pop culture here, folks. I know my buddy Logan, he's so annoyed with me about this. And I just got to say a little something. Look, we might do a part 1 and a part 2. And this might be part 1, okay? And we might do a part 2, and maybe I'll do that one by myself because I know this annoys my friend. It annoys me too. But I got to mention this. Person of the Year, Time Magazine. What? Taylor Swift? What in the hell are you doing? What's wrong with these people? Come on. There's got to be other people that would be the Person of the Year. Maybe the Sam Altman guy. I don't know. He's a little controversial in the world of AI, but somebody like that in tech, maybe somebody who discovered, some new cancer drug or a drug for, various different health ailments out there. Somebody who invented something. That's the kind of person who had Person of the Year. Taylor Swift, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is crazy. I know she's dating some football player now, and she's the thing, and she's a billionaire. That's right, a billionaire, not just a millionaire. He's a billionaire now. And I just, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Taylor Swift?
No. I don't know why you're fascinated with it, especially because she's on Time Magazine. You understand? They got to sell magazines.
Good point.
So,
and Taylor and all the Swifties out there, I hate to disappoint any of you, but Vladimir Putin was the Person of the Year once upon a time, not too long ago on Time Magazine. Oh, and who was about 70-something years ago? Yeah. Who was? Maybe 80-something years ago? Adolf Hitler. Look it up. I'm not making it up. So, Taylor, you're in good company. I'm just kidding.
But are we? I'm not.
No. Well, I've got a lot to say about her, but I think I'll tease it. We'll just say more to come for the Swifties out there. More to come about Taylor. We're gonna talk Tay-Tay down the road. So we'll just tease that a bit. So Hunter Biden, I did a little Hunter thing on my own. Some other scary, crazy stuff. Get you back to that. You were about Civil War and these crazy things. So did you see the situation with this the police officer that's in jail in Arizona over Minneapolis with George Floyd, the Chauvin? Mm-hmm. He got stabbed in jail
20-some times by an FBI informant. What are the chances a week after he puts in for an appeal, as I believe it was, to get new evidence brought in, or to say because of this new evidence you must drop my case or something of the sort? However that works out, he puts in court paperwork, and next thing you know, he's stabbed 20 times, damn near dies by an ex-federal employee, we'll call him, informant nonetheless. And what's crazy, I think he was a Mexican guy. He wasn't even like a black guy. I would have been more shocked. I'm more shocked by him being Mexican opposed to like being even like a white guy, because white liberals are probably the most savage fuckers around. But yeah, nothing's being said about this, nothing at all, other than that he was stabbed, and kind of like it was like celebrated on these. Oh, he was stabbed. Like what? I mean, they didn't say it as such, but still, nonetheless, to broadcast it without so many facts of who stabbed him. I think maybe I saw a news. A report about it being an ex-informant, but nonetheless, that's suspect as hell.
Yeah, and we will talk also in the future. There's a documentary coming out about that whole situation, and maybe giving a whole different light to this whole story. Yeah, and so I don't know, a lot of controversy there, folks. I just want to be clear to everyone watching or listening right now. We are not pro police brutality. There are some police officers who are a little trigger happy out there, and there are some bad things that do happen. But I think most of the police officers do a hell of a job, and they put their lives in the line when they go out there. And I don't know if the media handled that whole situation in Minnesota properly at all and gave a real clear picture of what happened.
Hillary says it best every time we have one of these situations. Never let a good
crisis go to waste.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What a perfect time during COVID too. I mean, so many. We talk about slop. Like, there's some slop there. They just threw all kinds of stuff at the wall, and unfortunately, a lot of it stuck this time around.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with Corona 2.0 that they're claiming going to be happening. And then I've mentioned before about the next big riots and crisis in this country is going to to be immigration. They got them down in Chicago with signs and protests.
Folks, I you got to talk about stuff, and I don't want to, there's times that I do want to be an instigator, I'll be honest, and you can tell when I'm talking provocatively. But then there's times like now, like I'm not here to provoke, I'm just here to report the stuff and say, hey, so her name is Teresa Haley, I do believe, and she's involved with the NAACP in Illinois. She just recently said some things that no Republican could ever get away with saying about the immigrants. And if you're not familiar with this, way too many immigrants are being flooded into the Chicagoland area, and it's causing a lot of trouble. And again, this is what's going on the border states for years. They've had to deal with this for years, and now these border states are saying, hey, we got enough of this. We're going to ship you up to Martha's Vineyard. We're going to ship you up to Chicago. We're going to ship you up to these sanctuary cities. And again, maybe you mayors and aldermen and women in these big cities need to rethink your sanctuary city policies a little bit. Again, folks, we are not a racist or xenophobic country. We take in legally now, forget the illegal and the undocumented stuff for a second. We take in about 1 million people a year. I think that's pretty good. We are all immigrants. Okay, unless you're a Sioux or an Apache or a Seminole or a Potawatomi, all right. Okay, and you know where I'm going with that down the line. Unless you got heritage that goes back to one of those nations, sorry, we're all immigrants. Either we came way before or we just came recently. So we are a nation of immigrants. We're always going to be, I think, a nation of immigrants. But we're doing way too much, way too fast. We're flooding the country. People think there's a Democrat agenda to get these people to be Democrats ultimately and sway the elections. Some people will just say maybe it's a conspiracy for a workforce. We don't have enough people to fill all the jobs that we have, and maybe we have a little bit of a bourgeoisie in America. Maybe we have a lot of kids that don't want to work as much as kids used to work. So, yeah, I mean, immigration is a mess. And obviously, at the federal level, this has been a mess for a long time. I was really surprised when Donald Trump got in. I thought, okay, he's going to do the art of the deal here. They're going to work something out where, you can kind of see some president trying this. I don't know if it'll get through Congress or not, where you say, okay, the 10, 13 million that are here can maybe fast track to some kind of citizenship or something, but we are going to, in fact, really, really have a border control, whether you want to call it a wall, whether it's electronic, drones, but a real one, not an underfunded one, not a one with a bunch of, nobody likes to say this, but a lot of agents of the border that get paid off by somebody because they're probably only making, a certain amount, and then they get paid off and they look the other way, and a bunch of people come through and, I get it. Everybody wants to come here. Okay, I get that. And the left should think about that a little bit once in a while.
Well, what's silly considering where the left stands today, especially with like the Israel and Gaza thing.
Yeah, Hamas. Yeah.
It's if you take your politics out of that and you look at a country that was attacked that has probably one of the most state-of-the-art, type of defense systems, and they got bamboozled. Again, kind of like you said with the whole border patrol, someone was paid off. How'd this happen? It's still questions that haven't been answered yet. The point of this being is that when you have a serious wall put in between, bad guys and the good guys, one group, the other, and they're still able to cross it. What we have down there is nothing. I think that's like the ultimate goal. I think, well, not the ultimate goal. One of many different facets of why the border's open and why they push to keep it open is one. Yeah, I think there's a democratic agenda. Let's bring these people and give them free stuff. And once they get used to it, just like they did in the dawn of the 60s and 70s with welfare with the black communities, it just get them stuck on it. Now you have generations of people who think, well, shit, I get all this free stuff. So if I don't vote for this person, this other guy's going to take it away from me. Now you're going to do the same thing with and these people expect something. Like I said, in Chicago, they've had protests where immigrants are coming up asking for jobs and fair places to live. Like they want all this stuff. And some of them even made comment. I remember seeing one report, the guy's like, this ain't worth it. He goes, I'm going back. I want to go back to where I came from because American. Well, again, the right didn't do that. We would have kept you where you're at because we know that you can't just flood in here. We don't have the space. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the free stuff just to give people. But the left don't care. They want those numbers. They want the story. They want to make everyone a victim. So as a people in this country, they go, well, we got to help the victims here. But these guys don't want to be victims. They want a better life, the ones that did come up here for that reason. But I think the other side of that coin is we leave it open for, again, whatever warmongering type of people in control that want that chaos. We've seen numbers where it's thousands of people from countries that are not our allies are coming in here.
This is really crazy and almost hard to believe.
Yeah.
But even RFK Jr. has done videos at the border, and he's confirmed some of these crazy things with people of Afghanistan and Middle Eastern, even Russians. I'm like, what?
Chinese, what? All kinds of people just flooding across the border. We have no idea who these folks are, and all the left really wants to do is say, oh, it's these families that the right's trying to separate, and all these people are coming from, whatever political asylum they're trying to. No, there's a lot of that for sure, but there's also a lot of like cloak and dagger type people that are coming in this country just waiting for a chance, working with said people. I mean, it's kind of like, did you hear the people that the couple folks that they had the conspiracy to kidnap the Gretchen Whitmer.
What's Gretchen Whitmer, Michigan?
Yeah. They let go. I want to say one of these guys or all three of them. It was not coercion, not extortion, but they were set
entrapment.
Up. Yeah, entrapment. That was it. And yeah, the jury said no, this was entrapment. You had majority government figures a part of this plan trying to coax 1, 2, 3 different guys, where they're giving them stuff. They completely pushed these people into this direction where they might have not, without their influence, might have not actually done this on their own. So that's pretty insane that, now a court system has actually seen this, and hopefully, again, I've yet to see any actual news footage about this. I've only heard other talking heads, other podcasters or, alternate media actually bring this up. So maybe it's not true. I'd be more from the sources I've heard it from probably is true, but why isn't this being talked about? That there is a serious corruption from the FBI by far coming from this. And then that would kind of lead into January 6th. Look at the infiltration that was there. It's pretty much proven that there was government agents mixed within the crowd. Vivek brought this up. That was a big thing he was doing on CNN. They would have let him finish it. They go, she made a comment, the reporter or whatever you want to call her, the host made a comment about him cherry picking certain information. And then he comes back and says cherry picking, the government cherry pick. Out of 200 hours of videos, they only brought up 12 hours.
It's good for the goose.
Cherry picking.
Yeah.
But if you look at you look at the other 200 hours of all this, you see a lot of it where Capitol Police are opening doors or they're letting people in. I mean, that's just how it worked. The only stuff you see are these bad actors, just like the cops thing, always trying to hammer down on the right. Any kind of laws, they just want to tear apart.
You just kind of wonder if there were some agent provocateurs there that day.
Oh, for sure, and that's
I'll show the other side little with something here. And even during 2020, some of those riots, various parts of our country, you kind of wonder if there were some bad actors there who were paid off to intentionally get the mobs going like they did.
Yeah. Like Antifa, you had people from Portland, from, all the way down in Chicago. You had people, all these anarchists, all these white liberals going to different parts of the country, different cities where it was supposed to be Black Lives Matter and inciting a lot of this stuff, So yeah, it's it's hard to gauge what's true, what's actually real in this country. Yeah, we see what we see. We see that there were riots, but why were there riots? Well, we're not given a real answer for it. Was it because, specific spots of places in, what was it, up in Michigan where all this happened? Or not Michigan, Minnesota, where there were pallets of stones and stuff left around. I think it was the same thing like in Portland, where just handy for these rioters to go up to police buildings and start throwing stuff. A lot of weird questions that haven't been answered and just kind of chopped up to conspiracy theories when there's legitimate questions. Why were certain things done? Why weren't things done? Things that weren't reported were reported.
And for January 6th, for me, just, and again, I that's not what I claim to have figured out at all.
No, not at all.
But why wasn't there more security there? You knew there was a controversial situation. The election, it was controversial. You knew there was going to be protesters. Okay, why weren't there more security? And who's to blame for that? And have they been reprimanded in any way, shape, or form?
That's actually been brought up. So I don't know what camp it was. I want to say it could have been, we'll say for the sake of argument, it was a Trump camp. It might have not been. It might have been somebody else. But they actually went to the chief of the Capitol Police saying, hey, we need more people. And I think, I don't want to misspeak, but it was denied. They asked for more security and it was denied. Why? Why was it denied? And yeah, it's one of those things that we heard about it here and there, and then it kind of just disappeared. Now it's all about these videos and again cherry pick shots of like certain individuals that did some bad stuff. But what about the ones that didn't get caught that were actually creating more problems? It's a weird game. It's hard to believe any of it, and it's hard to dismiss a lot of it. So where do you stand? If you kind of got again. Critical thinking people. I mean, it's not that hard to kind of see this smoke and mirrors kind of in front of us, considering when there's tons of evidence of it happening in the past. And there'll be plenty of it more happening in the future.
I hope not, but could be, folks. Very, very well could be. God help us. All right, it is the holiday season. Happy Hanukkah to everybody out there. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And we will be with you and going into this big new year, and we'll eventually do a year in review show. Sure. So all that's coming up and so much more. Thank you for watching us. We do appreciate your viewership. If you like what you see, please tell a friend. Please like and subscribe. And you can put some comments below. We're big boys. We can take it. Criticisms, suggestions, topics you want to see us cover, or any other references to anything that we've talked about here today. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do so again.